it's Jen. I thought I'd do something a little different this week and share with you some of the projects that I'm working on. I am feeling so mellow right now because I was just sitting outside in the sun, so I hope my voice isn't too quiet. I'm in a serious state of chill right now. So let me share with you the first project that I kind of have in development. A while ago, I took the final pictures of my leaf garland on a lampshade that I had made, and I had a couple people ask me when was I going to make the tutorial for the lampshade. And, ever since then I've been thinking about it because fair question, and I love that lampshade, so it would be really fun to share it with you. As a result, I have been on the lookout for a little lamp or a lampshade that I could use for the project, and I wanted to find one that if people happen to want to get the same one, it would be available to them. And I had high hopes for this little lamp that I just finished showing you, and then it was the wrong kind of lampshade, and then the second lampshade I showed you, I don't have a lamp that it will fit on. So the one I'm unboxing right now is, I think, going to be the winner. This is really cute. It's only about 10 or 11 inches tall. It's rechargeable. It is tiny. I'm sure it's the kind of little lamp made to sit in centerpieces for banquets or weddings. In my home, I have a couch that doesn't sit next to a wall, and so the side tables don't have access to an outlet, so a little lamp like this would be perfect. I feel like it would be pretty easy to find a spot for a small lamp like this one in anyone's home. So even though this feels kind of wrong, I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors to this lampshade in the hopes that we're able to create something more unique and really, really cozy. Oh my, that was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. That took me about 20 minutes, and I still need to take some glue gun to the top and bottom rim. But I am happy to report that it's exactly the right kind of lampshade for this project. And now I'm just playing around with some color options. This is some cotton thread that I have. It's very similar to a crochet cotton that's a size 10. I would compare it to something like a size 2 weight, a sock weight, something similar to that. Because this is going to be a really small lamp, I need to work with a lighter weight yarn and a smaller hook. You might be wondering, what if I want to make a larger lampshade? My hope is that I'll be able to give you all of the multiples and all of the guidance that you need to size your lampshade to your particular project and your preferences. Speaking of guidance, what color should I use? I spent a long time going through my colors and I'm still not sure. So if you have a vote, please let me know in the comments below. This is where I'm going to stop on this project today, but I'm calling it a win because I think I finally have the materials I need to get started. This next project is a little different, but it's one that I'm really excited to talk about. I taught myself how to tat in, I think, the fall of 2010. And I started off with shuttles, and that felt really awkward to me. And I sort of forced myself to get really comfortable shuttle tatting. And then I let myself graduate to needle tatting. And I think, of course, because I'm used to holding a single tool like a crochet hook, the needle tatting I just felt right at home right away needle tatting. And I had so much fun learning how to tat. But it wasn't long before I hit kind of my experimental phase, because that always happens. I'm like, what else could you do? I started to think it would be fun if you could tat with regular yarn or even oversized yarn. And I got a little obsessed with this idea, and I kept looking and looking for maybe needles I could use, because with tatting, you really fill up your needle with stitches. And if I was going to use size 4 and above yarn, I really needed a longer needle. And my initial solution for that was to make my own. So I started making my own needles out of birch dowels, and they worked great. And I even published some patterns on Etsy and sold some birch oversized tatting needles. And it was funny because it was just so niche that my husband was was really skeptical about anyone ever wanting to buy an oversized tatting needle. But I'm here to say that I have sold quite a few. But I always wanted to make a better needle. I'm not a woodworker, so I was struggling to make a good quality long tatting needle. And then recently, I found these needles. They're 12 inches long, which is exactly what I wanted. And the only issue with them is that their points are too sharp. You would just be accidentally pricking yourself all the time working with these needles. So I bought them, and now I'm dulling down the points to make them safe and easy to work with as a needle tatter. And I wanted to make a few and even put some in my Etsy shop, because my plan in the future is to show some of the oversized needle tatting projects that I've made and share those patterns with you. The first time I shared my oversized needle tatting projects, I immediately got questions, where can I get the needle? So I didn't want to share projects and not have a source for people to buy their own needle. Of course, you don't have to buy one that I work on. You could buy your own 12-inch needle and dull the point just like I'm doing. But I just don't think it's fair to share a project and not the resources to make that project. Anyway, I know I've just been talking and I'm not really in sync with my own video here. Right now, I'm just doing a little needle tatting so you can get an idea of how you would work with the needle. The black bracelet on my right wrist, that's a quick little needle tatting project I did just so you can get an idea of how you would ever use oversized needle tatting. I've made necklaces and bracelets. I've also made large tatted wallflowers to use as home decor. I just think it's a lot of fun. And once you learn the basics of tatting, then you can just kind of have fun experimenting and designing. I already have a new pattern that I want to share working with this recycled ribbon yarn, and it's not even the bulkiest yarn you can use, but it works really well with the oversized tatting needle, so that will be coming up. And also, because I'm sharing a little bit of the behind the scenes, when you sell something, you have to come up with some way of packaging it. For these needles, I found 14-inch paper straws that are really sturdy, and I think I'm even going to need to cut them down a little bit. I'm getting end caps for them, and that way not only do I have something safe to ship them in, but when you receive a needle, you'll have something safe to store it in. Now, back to dremeling. I have a new crochet pattern in the works. It's for a product that I really need to see in the world. And for this, I needed a really solid, dense, even stiffer fabric. I came up with the Caret Stitch, carrot like the symbols on the keyboard because it looks like rows of offset carrots. I wanted a fabric that had a lot of texture and some structure to it as well. I will probably make a tutorial simply dedicated to this stitch, but since you're hanging out with me and you're still here, I thought I would go ahead and share it with you early. I need to point out that I'm using a medium weight or size 4 yarn and a 3.75 millimeter hook, and that's going to contribute to how dense the fabric is. For row 1, you need a foundation single crochet row that is an even number of stitches. I'm making one that has 12 foundation single crochets. If you prefer, you could also chain an odd number of chains and then starting with the second chain from the hook, single crochet in each stitch across. Just make sure you have an even number of single crochets for row 1. At the end of row 1, chain 1 and turn, and row 2, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then working under the front loop only, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch. Now we start our repeating pattern for this row. You're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then front loop only single crochet in the stitch after that. You'll do this all the way across row 2 until only 2 stitches remain, and then you'll single crochet in each of those last 2 stitches. At the end of row 2, you'll chain 1 and turn. The right side of your work is going to be facing when you're working odd numbered rows. So for row 3, the right side is facing, single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to work a half double crochet in the next unworked back loop. So if you look at the base of the very next stitch, there is that back loop that we left unworked from row 2. You're going to go under that loop from bottom to top and then complete your half double crochet, and then you'll skip that stitch and single crochet in the next stitch. This is the repeating pattern for row 3, half double crochet in the next unworked back loop, skip a stitch, and then single crochet in the next stitch. You'll work this repeat all the way across, and at the end of row 3, you'll chain 1 and turn. For row 4, you're going to single crochet in the first stitch and then single crochet in the next. Then we start our repeating pattern. You're going to front loop only single crochet in the next stitch and then single crochet in the stitch after that. Then back to the beginning of the repeat. You'll work this repeat all the way across, and at the end of row 4, you'll chain 1 and turn. For row 5, single crochet in the first stitch and then half double crochet in that next unworked back loop and then skip a stitch. Now we're starting our repeating pattern. You'll single crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next unworked back loop and skip a stitch. Repeat this all the way across until you have 2 stitches remaining. You'll single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches and then chain 1 and turn. To carry on with the Caret stitch, you'll repeat rows 2 through 5 respectively until your fabric reaches the desired length. To assist you with your projects, here's the gauge for my little swatch. I hope you'll be able to make some use of this quick stitch tutorial. Sometimes it's just so helpful to have a fabric that's more dense, that's solid, things won't slip through. Think about making bags or wallets when you just want something that has structure and the texture is just a bonus. Well, that's a day in my life, from opening my curtains in the morning to washing my dishes at the end of the day. I always have the same salad bowl, cup, and maybe a plate. I will see you next Tuesday, and as always, it means so much to me if you hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.